Have you ever noticed something strange about your memory? You get a big compliment, achieve something you've worked really hard on, or just have a genuinely fantastic day and it feels good for a little while. But then one awkward sentence, one tiny misstep, and that moment replays in your head for hours. Sometimes even for days. It's frustrating, right? It made me wonder why my mind seems to grip so tightly onto these minor errors while letting go of meaningful achievements. It turns out there's a fascinating reason behind this, and it all starts with how our brains are wired. From an evolutionary standpoint, paying close attention to mistakes was a matter of life and death. For our ancestors, missing a small warning sign like a rustle in the bushes or a strange track on the ground could have had incredibly serious consequences. Success, on the other hand, didn't require the same level of deep analysis because it didn't signal immediate danger. If they successfully found food, great. The mission was accomplished. But if they almost got eaten, their brain needed to burn that memory in to make sure it never happened again. So the brain evolved to prioritize what might go wrong. Even today, thousands of years later, that bias is still with us. A small social slip-up can trigger our internal alert systems as if something significant is at risk, like our very survival. Psychologists have a name for this: negativity bias. The idea is that negative experiences often create much stronger emotional responses than positive ones. And here's the key part: emotion acts like a highlighter for your memory. It enhances the entire encoding process. When you feel a sting of embarrassment or a pang of regret, your brain essentially tags that event with a big, bright, important sticker. Big wins can feel incredibly satisfying, of course, but they rarely activate the same level of urgency as a perceived failure. The joy of success is a warm glow, but the sting of a mistake is a sharp alarm bell, and alarms are designed to be impossible to ignore. Another reason mistakes stick around is that they feel unresolved. Success often feels complete. Once something goes well, there's nothing left to fix. You cross the finish line, you get the promotion, the project is done. The loop is closed. Mistakes, however, feel like an open tab in your brain's browser. They feel unfinished. Your brain starts searching for ways to correct the error, or more importantly, to prevent it from ever happening again. This is why you replay the moment over and over. It's your brain's attempt to learn from it, to run simulations and figure out what you could have done differently. Your mind treats this error analysis as critical preparation for the future. This tendency gets amplified because we are deeply social creatures. Belonging to a group matters immensely to us. So even small social missteps can feel like huge threats to our reputation or our acceptance within that group. Saying the wrong thing at a party, stumbling over your words during a presentation, or forgetting a colleague's name can feel magnified way out of proportion. Why? Because your brain is worried about the potential social consequences. It exaggerates the significance of the mistake to make absolutely sure you avoid future embarrassment and protect your social standing. It acts like a built-in social anxiety feature that is always trying to keep you safe within the tribe. Now, here's an interesting twist. Repeated success can actually become normalized. When your achievements start to align with your own expectations, they feel less memorable. Think about it. The first time you successfully bake a cake, it's a huge deal. The 100th time, it's just Tuesday. The brain adapts very quickly to positive outcomes. This adaptation makes wins feel standard or even expected, while mistakes always stand out as glaring deviations from the norm. A mistake is a disruption, and our brains are wired to pay attention to disruptions. A win, especially a repeated one, becomes part of the predictable, comfortable background. If you happen to be a perfectionist, this whole loop gets even stronger. For people who set incredibly high standards for themselves, even the smallest imperfections feel disproportionately massive. The gap between your high expectation and the slightly flawed reality becomes the main focus. Instead of celebrating the 99% of things that went right, all your attention shifts to that 1% that could have been better. The mental replay of the event turns into an internal critique session, a harsh cross-examination rather than a balanced and fair reflection on your performance. So when your mind keeps replaying these mistakes, it can feel like you're being productive. It feels like you're problem-solving. It seems like you're preparing yourself for next time. But there's a dark side to this, and it's called rumination. Repeatedly dwelling on a negative event rarely produces new solutions or insights. More often than not, it just deepens the discomfort, the anxiety, and the self-criticism. Your brain confuses the repetition with improvement, but they're not the same thing. In reality, genuine learning requires structured reflection, not an endless, painful replay. It involves asking specific questions, finding concrete lessons, and then, crucially, letting it go. On the flip side, positive experiences don't usually get the same level of automatic rehearsal. To really remember our wins, to let them sink in and shape our self-perception, we often need to be intentional about it. We have to consciously reflect on them. Think back to a recent success. Did you spend as much time savoring it as you did worrying about your last mistake? Probably not. Without that intentional focus, those positive memories tend to fade much faster. Our brain's automatic, default system prioritizes threat detection over practicing gratitude. It's not a personal failing. It's just the default setting. So let's put this all together. Your mind replays small mistakes more than big wins because it is fundamentally wired to prioritize threats, corrections, and social safety. It's a survival mechanism that's been passed down through generations. Negative experiences carry a heavier emotional weight, which strengthens their place in your memory. Understanding this pattern is the first step to breaking free from it. It helps you put things into perspective. Not every mistake that your brain replays deserves the spotlight it's given. It's your brain doing its job, but you get to decide if the alarm is real. Your wins may not echo as loudly in your mind, but they are just as real and they still matter. In fact, they might matter more. Learning to consciously balance your attention between learning from your mistakes and celebrating your victories is what creates a more accurate and compassionate picture of your progress. It's about shifting from a mindset of constant threat detection to one of intentional growth and gratitude. So next time you find yourself stuck on a replay of a tiny error, take a deep breath. Acknowledge your brain is just trying to help, and then gently redirect your focus to a win, no matter how small. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.